It's been 3 months since Markiplier's latest and greatest project was officially revealed. Since then, we've been able to learn a lot more about what we should be expecting from the Iron Lung movie. So without further ado, here are 10 things we know about Iron Lung so far. For those that aren't aware, Markiplier's upcoming film Iron Lung is based off an indie horror game of the same name, which was released in 2022. Created by David Szymanski, a veteran developer of the indie horror genre, Iron Lung, the game that is, takes place in a future where humanity was successful in colonizing space. Alongside this Elon Musk wet dream, an event known as the Quiet Rapture occurred, which resulted in all stars and habitual planets suddenly and mysteriously disappearing. All that's left now are those humans aboard man-made creations, such as space stations. You, the player, are sent in a dilapidated old submarine to investigate a recently formed ocean atop a moon which is thought to hold essential resources needed for humanity's survival. Oh, and that very ocean is made up of human blood. Have fun! While this was just a Cliff Notes version of the lore, it still gives us a general idea of what the premise will be like for the movie. In fact, the storylines may actually be more similar than expected since David Szymanski aided Mark in writing the script to ensure it was properly connected to the source material. Alongside this, David was also present for filming, so I imagine the direction of both artists will be expressed clearly without any creative disputes.
Mostly from the developer of Iron Lung himself, David. I don't think I've actually pronounced his last name out loud.
On to our second point, it is no secret that Markiplier has directed, written, and starred in the film.
It is a weird thing. It's not common for, the actor to also be the director and the producer and funding it. It's not like that doesn't happen. That happens but...
This is not uncommon for him when looking back on all his other creative endeavors. What we can glean from this is that Mark and the player character in the game might be one and the same. His attire in this BTS photo supports that argument as it resembles something close to what a convict may be forced to wear, a detail that aligns with our video game protagonist. Andrew Hulshort is the composer of Iron Lung. He will be creating an original soundtrack from scratch for the film.
Yeah, and one thing that people will be able to say is that it is not going to look bad or sound bad. We have just a great team for both.
Having worked on titles such as Doom Eternal and Dusk, which is also another one of David's hit titles, Mark is confident that even if all else goes to hell, the soundtrack will still undoubtedly be a banger.
When people heard that he was doing the soundtrack, everyone was like, oh, well, I guess it might be okay then. Andrew.
I'm sorry, what?
Andrew.
On the topic of Mark's co-workers, he decided to pair up with his old crew when embarking on this journey. I first revealed that information in this interview with one of his co-workers, so be sure to check that out. These talented visionaries helped him create previous projects such as A Heist with Markiplier and In Space with Markiplier, which are both stellar examples when it comes to gorgeous visuals. That, combined with how all the parties are familiar with one another, is just more assurance of how Iron Lung is in great hands.
And then the same sound designer or post-production sound design that did Space is working on it, Brad. He's lined up for it.
Unlike Mark's other films, this one will be a theatrical release. However, I am unsure of whether it will be distributed internationally, but chances are that a worldwide release is sadly unlikely.
You guys are getting ahead of yourselves in terms of the worldwide release. Hold on about that. I don't know. Let me get the movie done first.
Jacksepticeye is a part of the film. This tweet and a certain moment from Distractable, a podcast that Mark co-hosts and one which you should listen to if you haven't already, imply that his role will be much more involved than just a simple cameo. Once more reminiscent of his previous projects, Markiplier has done his own stunts, and from the sound of it, it sure seems like there will be a lot of them.
This was probably the most intense stunt I've ever done. I get pulled on a wire straight into a metal wall and then I bounce off of it, right?
So I think it's okay to be optimistic of some plentiful action sequences being included in the film.
Somebody tweeted like, Mark's doing stunts for this one. And I literally just responded. I'm like, he did stunts in Heist and in Space too.
Despite being a feature-length film, it's been continuously hinted at that the editing crew behind the project is quite minimal.
As miserable as the filming process is, I do think I enjoy that more. Editing is, in a vacuum and you're just like doing it yourself.
So far, it has been confirmed that Mark and his editors, Lexi and Marcus and Rachel, are the only ones that are overseeing post-production.
Yeah, I wrote it, I directed it, I edited, and I was negotiating with IATSE, and then it was like, who's gonna edit it? And they're like, I'm gonna edit it. And they're like, you're gonna edit it? And I'm like, I'm gonna edit it.
We have now approached our last and most recent update of what has been going on behind the scenes of Iron Lung. While filming had officially ended a week after the release of the Iron Lung teaser,
There was articles like, oh, Markiplier's filming Iron Lung, and then there was another like follow-up article yesterday. It was like Markiplier's wrapped, and everyone was like, wow, only a week of filming? Man, that must be a short movie. And I'm just like, we were filming for 35 days.
Mark went back out to Austin, Texas to film some pickup shots. When recounting his experience, Mark estimates that Iron Lung might be a record holder for the most amount of blood used in a horror movie.
Also, side note, we might have the world record for most blood in a horror movie.
I saw that. That's kind of impressive.
I need to do some calculations, but I'm almost pretty sure we have it.
With a setting based on a whole ass blood ocean, I'm honestly not too surprised. Hey everyone, I'm coming back to this script and adding an additional point since it was revealed in Mark's first episode of the Ruined DLC for Security Breach that the official trailer for Iron Lung is actually finalized and ready to be posted. However, Mark isn't allowed to upload it due to the SAG-AFTRA strike since he is a part of that union.
So I actually have the trailer ready, the next trailer for Iron Lung. I'm not allowed to release it because of the strike. And I'm not saying like, ooh, that's terrible. I'm trying to get permission, which I think I'll get.
Although, the matter is a tricky one since Mark was self-sufficient for this production, and thus Iron Lung doesn't fall under the criteria for what the strike is against.
Is it going to affect your movie, Mark? I'm actually super curious.
I think so. I don't know the full ramifications of it, but I think so. I'm in SAG, so technically I am striking. My film is done. We've done all our pickup shots. We've done everything. However, there's occasion for like, we might need another voice. I need to record ADR at some point, but I'm SAG. And so it's like, where do I stand for my own production that I'm making and funding? Am I allowed to do this stuff right now? Or do I have to put it on a break?
And if you're curious about what this strike means for the rest of the entertainment industry, then do subscribe so that I know if you're interested in that or any other topic I've hinted at today. Regardless, here is a bit more info for now.
And I don't want to go against what the industry wants, but also I'm not in a position right now where I'm one of the people they're striking against because I've tried to do everything right by my crew and like the people around me. So I don't know. I want to do it right, and I like obviously support the strike, but it's an unknown world.
And that's about it for Iron Lung. That wraps up all you need to know before heading in to watch Iron Lung once it inevitably releases. Here's to some more prosperous years full of theatrical indie horror releases. If you're curious to learn more about Markiplier's other